Chapter 29. Approaches. Furthermore, Subhuti, a bodhisattva should approach the perfection of wisdom as follows: through non-attachment to all dharmas, from the non-differentiatedness of all dharmas, from the fact that all dharmas cannot possibly come about, in the conviction that all dharmas are equal in remaining unaffected by change, because he has recognized by wisdom that all dharmas, as without self, give us no hint about their true nature or intentions, in the conviction that all talk about dharmas as extraneous to them consists in mere words, mere conventional expression. But the conventional expression does not refer to anything real. It is not derived from anything real, nor is itself anything real, in the conviction that all dharmas lie outside the conventional expression and discourse, that it is not that they have been conventionally expressed or uttered. From the unlimitedness of all dharmas, from the unlimitedness of form, etc., from the signlessness of all dharmas, by penetration into all dharmas, from the fact that all dharmas are perfectly pure in their original nature, from the fact that all dharmas are beyond words, because all the different kinds of forsaking are really equal in value and kind, since all dharmas have never been stopped, because suchness is everywhere the same, since all dharmas have already attained nirvana, in the conviction that all dharmas do not come, nor do they go, they cannot be generated, they are unborn, their non-birth being absolute, because he observes neither himself nor others, in the conviction that all dharmas are holy arhats, perfectly pure in their original nature, in the conviction that all dharmas had put down their burden, because no burden had ever been put on them, from the fact that all dharmas have neither place nor locality, for form, etc., is without place and locality, in accordance with the own being of its original nature, because he is exhilarated by the cessation of all dharmas, because he feels neither content nor discontent, because he becomes neither impassioned nor dispassionate, for form, etc., in their true reality, in their own being, do not become either impassioned or dispassioned, in the conviction that the original nature of all dharmas is perfectly pure, in the conviction that all dharmas are non-attached, free from both attachment and non-attachment, in the conviction that all dharmas are essentially enlightenment, because they are all equally understood by the Buddha cognition, from the emptiness, signlessness, and wishlessness of all dharmas, in the conviction that all dharmas are essentially a healing medicine, because they are controlled by friendliness, in the conviction that all dharmas are dwellers in friendliness, dwellers in compassion, dwellers in sympathetic joy, dwellers in impartiality, in the conviction that all dharmas are identified with the Supreme Universal Spirit, because in their being no faults can arise, because in their essential being all faults remain unproduced, in the conviction that all dharmas are equally neither hopeful nor hostile. One should approach the boundlessness of the perfection of wisdom through the analogy of the boundlessness of the ocean, through the analogy of the multicolored brilliance of Meru. One should approach the boundlessness of the perfection of wisdom from the boundlessness of form, etc., through the analogy of boundless illumination shed by the circle of the sun's rays, from the boundlessness of all sounds, from the boundlessness of the final achievement of all the dharmas of a Buddha, from the boundlessness of the excellence of the equipment of the whole world of beings with merit and cognition, from the boundlessness of the element of earth, and so from the boundlessness of the element of water, fire, air, space, and consciousness. One should approach the unlimitedness of the perfection of wisdom from the unlimitedness of the collection of wholesome and unwholesome dharmas, from the unlimitedness of the collection of all dharmas. One should approach the boundlessness of the perfection of wisdom through the acquisition of the boundlessness of the concentration on all dharmas, from the boundlessness of all Buddha Dharmas, from the boundlessness of all Dharmas, from the boundlessness of emptiness, from the boundlessness of thought and its constituents, from the boundlessness of thoughts and actions. One should approach the measurelessness of the perfection of wisdom from the measurelessness of wholesome and unwholesome dharmas. One should approach the resounding declaration of the perfection of wisdom through the analogy of the roaring of the lion's roar. One should approach the fact that the perfection of wisdom cannot be shaken by outside factors from the fact that all dharmas cannot be shaken by outside factors, for form, etc., is like the ocean. Form and each skandha is like the firmament, like the brilliant and multicolored Meru, like the production of the rays of the disk of the sun, boundless like all sounds, boundless like the whole world of beings, boundless like the final achievement of the dharmas of a Buddha, boundless like the equipment with merit and cognition of all beings in the world. It is like the earth, like water, fire, air, space, and consciousness. It has no definite boundary, like the collection of all wholesome and unwholesome dharmas. It has no definite boundary like the collection of all dharmas. Form is the departure into Buddhahood. The own being of form is the Buddha dharmas, which are essentially the suchness of form, etc. Up to consciousness is departure into Buddhahood. The own being of consciousness is the Buddha dharmas, which are essentially the suchness of consciousness. Form and each skandha is the boundless true nature of all dharmas. The empty boundless true nature of things, the boundlessness of thought and its constituents, it gives rise to the thoughts and actions. It is wholesome or unwholesome until there is non-apprehension. It is like the lion's roar. It cannot be shaken by outside factors. In such ways should a bodhisattva approach perfect wisdom. If the bodhisattva approaches perfect wisdom in this way, apperceives it, enters into it, understands it, reflects on it, examines, investigates, and develops it, with acts of mind that have abandoned all deception and deceit, all conceit, the exaltation of self, all laziness, the deprecation of others, the notion of self, the notion of a being, gain, honor, and fame, the 5 hindrances, envy and meanness, and all vacillation, then it will not be hard for him or her to gain the full perfection of all virtues, of the Buddha field, and of the supreme dharmas of a Buddha.